Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
facts,
boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue, the Black Terror.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I am Zach, joined by the Kid Terror
to
my Black Terror.
Kid Terror, Black Terror.
Mr. Mike. A lot of terror going on.
Yeah. Don't get them mixed up. I'm
No.
always Kid Terror.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Because it would make sense that, Mike would be Kid Terror.
Sure,
You
because
see
I'm
him
so
in person,
young.
you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And just
spry.
so small in stature.
That's
too.
right. Small in stature, young and spry.
Yep.
That's the way people describe me.
Impish, kind of.
Impish. That's right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No.
I leap from stone to stone.
Today, as we continue to scour the lands of the public domain, because let's be honest, they are filled now with tons and tons of great classic comic book
These
characters.
have been great. I really enjoyed these.
Today, we are doing the Black Terror.
The Black Terror.
Don't know why he went with the name Black Terror.
Okay.
It's never brought up. Today, we're focusing on his origin, because his origin's
Is it like
uneventful.
Oh, okay.
But
I was thinking the Black Terror very much sounds to me like the plague.
yes.
Or something like that,
Well, his costume, as I'll show you a picture of here, it's basically an all black bodysuit.
Oh.
And it's a skull and crossbones.
You know what? Of any of the ones you've shown me, I like this one the most.
Of course,
it's Punisher.
Domino Mask. Of course.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, well.
He is kind of 1940s Punisher.
He's going to really injure himself jumping onto that plane, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's falling from the sky, jumping on a plane.
And it looks like he's about to, like, Donkey Kong just punch through the top of the plane.
Well,
both hands.
He's going to rack himself on that plane first.
Well, I think he's wearing a cup.
Mm.
All superheroes do that.
He wears a terror cup.
Yep, terror cup. So, the Black Terror is a...
Brought to you by Testacuzzi. We hadn't said that in a while.
We haven't said that in a while.
That's right.
Yeah, do you ever rack yourself diving onto planes when you're chasing bad guys?
Testacuzzi.
The Black Terror was a creation of Richard Hughes and Dan Gabrielson back in the first appearance here that we're going to talk about from Exciting Comics number 9 back in May of 1941. So we are right at
Golden Age. Yeah,
we are right before World War II.
Yeah.
For us joining it and stuff.
Right,
so
right.
Like you said, peak Golden Age comic.
And let's be fair. I mean, us joining a war is really the time the war starts.
Yes,
I mean,
that's true.
Wars don't happen without us in them.
That's usually our thought
skirmishes.
process. Yeah. But they don't really count unless we're there.
Yeah.
We are the Kanye.
Player,
it didn't take place.
Player 3 has entered the game. That's right. We are the player one.
3. So what we have here is Robert Benton is our man here, our hero, if you will.
Yeah.
The Black Terror. But Robert Benton has a day job.
What a name to be a hero. Black Terror.
Well, he's also your local pharmacist.
Okay. Sure he is. Yeah.
Right? So
all right. I was going to guess phlebotomist, but sure.
Local pharmacist Bob Benton is being stricken down by the mob. That is how we open this up, right?
All right.
They're basically like, hey, where's the protection money you owe us?
Boy, that is the first place the mob goes to.
To the pharmacist.
Poor pharmacist.
Well, and Mr. Benton here, our pharmacist, says, hey, I'll give you the money tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Business has been slow. Which I was thinking, is he just talking about sick people?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm a pharmacist. Business has been slow. People have been healthy this week. I can't help it.
Crazy.
What I'm able to pay you for protection.
Now you're like feeding into the plague thing I said. Maybe he started a plague as the Black Terror to get some more money so he could pay the mob.
Exactly. So
he's a pharmacist.
He's a pharmacist. So basically the mob tells him, all right, I'll give you one more day.
Yeah.
As they go to leave, there's this little kid outside that bumps into him. And the mobster just pushes him down and says basically, beat it, kid. This ain't no resting place for punks. Typical 1940s speech.
Yeah, sure. I love that.
So
beat it, kid. This ain't no resting place for punks.
Bob Benton, our local pharmacist.
Bob Benton.
I feel like he goes by Bob instead of Robert. He's not as formal. So Bob Benton.
Sure, he's not a formal guy.
No, goes after outside and is like, hey, you thugs, you can't basically knock a child down.
Hey, guys, quit it.
Yeah. So what do the thugs do? The thugs just start punching up on Bob. Just beat the mess out of him.
Poor Bob.
About that time, because Bob's luck's not going to get any
time,
better.
Every time they hit him, pills just fly out, you know.
My inventory.
It's like Sonic with rings, you know, but it's pills.
Yeah, and the finishing blow is when he has no more pills that come out once he gets punched.
Yeah.
About that time, bad luck for Bob. Gene Starr, secretary to the mayor.
2 R's?
Yes, 2
Yeah,
R's.
sure.
And city comptroller Rodney Clark.
Boy, this is filled with action here. We got a pharmacist, we got a city comptroller, and what was the other one? Dog catcher?
The secretary to the mayor.
Secretary to the mayor. Boy, dream team.
Oh, I didn't tell you this was published by Needor Comics, so you know that.
Yeah,
you know.
just so you know the quality's there.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is also a character. I was just going to leave it for the end, but I'll go ahead and say it now. That has been brought back by so many different publications.
Really?
In so many different ways, shapes, or forms.
Oh.
Like, I am focusing on the Needor Comics version here.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
the
weird
only
ones
ones
out
that
there.
count. Again.
Oh, yeah. I need the...
Needor. The only ones that count.
Yeah, the knowledge of what timeline we're following here for all you Black Terror enthusiasts.
Sure. There's some guy out there, and I gotta hope he's
like,
listening. He's got a room in his house devoted just to the Black Terror.
Yeah, but he's like, I hope it's... damn it. I thought they were talking about a different version. I've already heard about this version.
I know everything about the Needor version.
Man. So, yeah. Bad news for Bob.
Honey, we can go to that wedding.
Oh, man. So, bad news for Bob as mayor, secretary, and local comptroller come walking by just in time to see him be beat up by the mob.
Sure.
The secretary, look, Rod. So she's already...
Rod.
Yeah, not Rodney. Rod.
Sure. Oh, Rod.
Look, Rod, it's Bob Benton. Help him. So they already know it's small enough to where they know.
Sure. Yeah.
So go help him, Rodney. Or Rod. I'm sorry, they're close enough.
Yeah. My father is Rodney.
And Rod says, why can't that weak-kneed pill mixer take care of himself?
Oh, man.
Let's go. Like, he's like, F it.
I'm going to start calling people that. You're a weak-kneed pill mixer.
So basically, the city comptroller goes and saves Bob from the thugs beating him up and says, "Here are your glasses, hero." Like he's like, you know, again, what we saw,
really building him up.
What we saw at the puppeteer, they all have a fetish of being like just taken down a peg in their alter ego form.
Right.
They want to save the day, but then they want to be ridiculed when they're not.
Yeah.
So. Of course, it works to the pharmacist's delight here because he just gets made fun of for not being able to take care of himself.
And now we know that as BDSM.
There you go. And he's, I got lost on that. Basically, they leave him and Bob fixes his glasses, trying to compose himself. And
pharmacy tape.
The little kid comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, sir, my name's Tim Rowland. Like, I just wanted to thank you." Right? And Bob
Can I have
goes,
a crust of bread?
Yeah. Bob goes, "Why do you want to thank me?" And he's like, "Well, you came in to, help me." And he's like, "And what good that did?" He goes, "And you still came and helped me anyway." Basically, he's like, "You knew you sucked and you still tried it anyway." A child is telling an adult this.
Yeah.
Basically, just it's funny to think of the reverse opposite. But yeah, Tim's really trying to give Bob a pep talk here, right? So
my dad's a weak-kneed pill pusher too.
Yeah. Tom says, though, "I wish I was like that, though. I'd find it easier getting along." To which Bob's first response is, "Need a job, hey?" What? He did not ask that at all. Tim does not ask him. Tim's just basically like, "I wish that, I could dive into things without thinking about them."
Right. I think it was on the collective conscience at that point, though, that everybody needed a job.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the 40s.
That's true. So maybe Bob's just asking anybody that'll talk to him for a set amount of time.
Hey, you need a job?
You need a job? Nobody wants to work with me. They got to deal with me all day. Do you want a job? And he goes, "Come on in. Maybe I could use an assistant." He doesn't even know, though. He's like, "Maybe I could use an assistant."
Yeah.
You want a job? So while they're down there,
of work, just no pay.
Yep. it already says the first panel we see, or next panel we see, this is my spare time hobby. So obviously he's not on the clock anymore.
Wait, what? Being a weak-kneed pill pusher is his hobby?
Bob's downstairs, like, mixing up potions and stuff.
Oh.
Like with the chemistry set. And he's telling Tim,
okay,
this is my spare time hobby. So obviously Tim is no longer on the clock, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If he hired him to be his assistant.
Sure.
He's now just hanging out with them, right?
Right.
We know nothing about Tim's parents.
Well, he's a little dirty orphan kid. He's living on the streets.
We don't know that. We assume so. Or there's parents out there just like, he's hanging out with the pharmacist.
He slept in a shoebox on the street last night. This is really a step up.
He's over mixing up potions at the pharmacist's house. Like,
drink this one, Tim.
So basically,
it'll make you feel small.
Yeah, he tells him that one of his goals is to. Here, I want to describe it the way he says it. It's the kind of thing he tells him. I've been working on a sort of tonic for run-down people.
Oh, so he's inventing cocaine.
Basically,
that's what it is.
It says, so far I've had no luck, but I'm not licked yet. It's the kind of a thing a chap like me would fool around with. I love the way they talk. By the way, all my life, folks been picking on me, and I've dreamed about something which could help me build my strength.
Oh,
right about that time, he asks Tim, hey, grab me, whatever it is. Tim's not paying attention; just grabs something, hands it to him. He adds it in.
Whoops.
First day on the job, I would like you to bring up again.
Come on, Tim.
Yeah, and basically Bob's like, "What'd you do? You ruined it." He says, "You took the wrong bottle, you idiot." So he's already called this child an idiot.
This is like the thing where you have to sign in on Google and give them your. This is 2-factor authentication.
Exactly.
Why didn't the pharmacist who is employed to do this check the bottle also?
Yeah, no, he tells him what to grab.
Thanks, Tim. Glug, glug, glug. No.
No, he tells Tim to go get the bottle to add it. And Tim just adds it himself.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But we don't see what he's doing. He's always standing there by it, so he's watching him. But he adds to it, and then basically Tim's like, "I'm sorry, what did I do?" And Bob's like, "Oh, you added this kind of formic acid." Yeah, he calls him an idiot. And I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Don't worry, next panel over, he tells him, "I'm sorry for losing my temper."
Oh, okay.
So he apologizes to
Well, this is an action-packed story so far.
Basically, though.
Never have I wished for mob guys to come back so badly.
They're coming back. Just wait. I have to give the background of how he gets his powers because it gives him an idea.
Oh.
Because the acid he grabs is the acid from a red ant. And Tim goes.
Wait, what?
The acid of a red ant. Like it's the same acid that red ants use, I guess.
Oh, okay. Just got that sitting on his shelf.
Yep, he just has it in there.
No. The red ant, not the black one.
Tim says, though, red ants, huh? I once read they were the strongest things alive. So then the pharmacist goes, never thought of that.
We've established 2 things here. Tim is an idiot, but he can read. And
he's smarter
and
than
ants are super strong. And he's smarter than the pharmacist. Wow.
So, who's a weak-kneed pill mixer.
Sure.
So that gives him the idea.
Weak-kneed pill mixer.
And he mixes up stuff in the concoction real quick. And now he has his new potion.
So literally anybody could have done this.
Yes.
I mean, this is not like, lightning struck and it hit the red ant juice and it got in his eyes and he's now a super
So he's
whatever.
made this elixir tonic, whatever. Yeah. And he's like, oh no, what's going on? And it starts giving off these fumes.
Yeah.
And usually when stuff gives off fumes, you would think you'd be cautious.
Sure.
But he's immediately like,
I
smell.
Smells great. Yeah. Thanks.
Is that hints of like juniper? He's just like.
I love acid smoke.
And then it's like, I feel different. It feels like steel is pouring into my veins.
And then he just falls over dead.
And muscles, everything's waking up. And he just puts his hand on the table and breaks it in half.
Oh.
And then Tim's like, wow, you have super strength. And he's like, hold on. And he lifts his
Wait. He's just like, oh, cool. You got super strength. Huh.
Yeah. Tim goes, gosh. You just leaned on it, and it busted like cardboard, is what he says. Really descriptive there for
Good job, Tim.
But Bob's able to lift a safe that just says drugs on it.
Drug safe.
It is. It says Robert Benson drugs.
That's great.
On his safe there.
Oh, boy.
When he
That's
lifts it
nice.
up.
Yeah.
He then decides, Tim asks him, what do you want to do with these newfound powers you have when you inhale this tonic?
Right.
And Bob basically tells him, you know what?
I want to sneak into the ladies'
I
room.
want you to...
What if that was the end? Instead of him being like a nice guy, he's like, I want to get invisibility so I can stay in the ladies' room. Porky's 3. Enjoy.
Oh, man. No, but he does tell Tim, he's like, I've had a dream forever of using strength like this to make a difference.
I've had a dream since like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that I could use my super strength.
Virtually forever.
He tells him, go to a theatrical costumer, which I can't decipher if that means a costumer who works for like a theater company or just one who's like, our prices are great.
Our prices are great. Try on these pants.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, and tells him what he wants. Well, Tim goes to pick up the costume the next day, and the costumer says, here's one that'll work in a man's size, and I just so happen to have it in a boy's size, too.
Oh, good.
And he's like, and Tim goes, I'll take them both, but keep the boy one until I call for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
okay, sure.
So basically, kid goes to Target. He's like, how much is it for the 2 TVs? Well, Mr. 8-year-old, it's $500.
Mr. 8-year-old.
Here's the $500.
Yeah.
I'm going to take one TV right now. Keep the second one for me till I come back.
Hang on to that TV for me.
I'll
Would
be
you there,
back,
buddy?
I'll be back for it later.
Oh, that's great.
Not a weird side at all.
No. Well, it's the 40s.
Also, how is he already assuming that somehow he's going to be a superhero?
That's true. He didn't inhale the ant juice.
No. Who's to say that pharmacist Bob will let him inhale the
Well,
ant
that's
juice?
true, too. Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess he did give him a job when he didn't really know if he had one or needed one. And so he's just like, yeah, I got this Bob wrapped around my finger. I'll just be a hero, too.
I'll be like, hey, you still need an assistant? Well, yeah. I need to inhale that ant juice.
Yeah.
So, basically.
Inhale that ant juice.
Tim shows up with the costumes. He knows that the gangsters are coming back to shake him down. So Bob breaks away. Miss Starr, she ends up being the love interest for the Black Terror for a while. So she's here a while. The mayor's secretary.
She's blonde.
No, she's a brunette.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I know. Very progressive choice.
Yeah, it's very progressive. Yeah.
So
flat-chested brunette.
So he leaves and he changes into the terror costume and basically says, "Hold it, Muggs."
Mugs.
He calls them Mugs. He beats up the thugs that are there to shake him down, but our pharmacist Bob, not Black Terror.
Right. Sure.
He beats them all. He basically says he punches a guy and says, "From the Black Terror with love," because thinks he's kind of cool.
Wait, he hasn't come up with his Superman thing yet.
He's already First guy he punches is the Black Terror. He says, "From Black Terror with love." Like that's his catchphrase. I guess he's trying out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know if it sticks. It doesn't pop back up.
Sure,
but maybe he says it in his head every time he punches somebody. Like he's like, I really wish that would have stuck.
Yeah,
like he thought it was super cool when he said it.
That'd look good on T-shirts, wouldn't it, Tim?
Yeah, Tim.
Hey, Tim, write that down.
So he dispels the Mugs, as he calls them.
Muggles.
And sends them, the non-magic ones, and sends them back to their boss and says, "Hey, tell your boss that I'm coming for him." Basically throws him outside, he grabs him, goes and throws him outside, and the cops are out there.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Hey, who are you?"
Just waiting.
And he's like, "I've already done it for you." Basically tosses it to him and runs away. And they see a note attached to one of them. Doesn't want to talk to him and explain it.
Right, sure.
There's a note. He says it's a,
this is a mug.
It's like, "You're welcome." Sign the Black. Like he was like, "Hey, you're welcome for me doing your job, Black Terror." And he's like, "Looks like you put this sticker here too. Maybe that's his call sign."
Well, here's the thing. He just made this character up.
Yeah, and he already has a sticker for it.
Well, he's got a sticker, and he's signing notes to the police and going, take my word for it. They're bad.
And he already has a catchphrase.
From Black
with
Terror.
love
With
for the
love.
Black Terror.
That's great.
Oh, man. So,
It's got to be way more exciting than being a pharmacist.
So after this, he hops on the back of their car and just rides with them to the bosses.
Wait, so he won't talk to them, but he jumps on the back of their car.
No, he jumps on the back of the thugs' cars.
Oh, the mugs.
Or the mugs' cars.
Yeah.
Sorry. Once they get let out of prison, he waits.
He's just waiting around.
He jumps on the back of their car. Which, here's the thing, too. It's not like it has a window on the back of the car.
So they can see him. They just don't look. And what I'm thinking is all those poor people that are now lined up at the pharmacy that aren't being waited on. You know, there's so many sick people just going without their pills.
But I mean, he's just basically like hunched like this on the trunk.
Sure.
Like directly in the view. Like if the driver ever checked his rear view mirror, he sees him.
He just does a quick left and loses him.
And so the driver apparently says nothing. He's just like,
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
I guess he's coming with us.
This was before rearview mirrors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Rearview mirrors were invented in 1947.
Oh.
So that's,
that clears so much up there.
Yeah.
Why would they look behind him?
Right. Yeah. We didn't know about safety then.
No. So he followed. That's how he follows the mugs to the big mug hideout.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he basically takes care of all of them.
Mug hideout.
The mug hideout.
That's wonderful.
So while he finds the way to the mug,
I like how you have to like get back into it. You're like,
I have to get back.
So the mugs.
Oh man,
mugs.
I laughed so hard just talking about the ridiculousness of him riding on the back of the car and nobody.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because it's filled with like 4 people in there. Not one of them notice him.
Right.
So basically, though, he's able.
How
to,
about them Yankees? They're just riding around, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's able to infiltrate the hideout and take care of everybody's out there looking for protection. That's the end of the first story.
But hang on 1 second. So how did he get into the hideout?
He just like breaks in.
Okay.
It just crashes in through like a window.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was expecting more, maybe.
No.
You know? Okay.
All he has is super strength from inhaling fumes.
Sure.
He's basically just huffing stuff
He's
and
not-
getting strong.
Maybe nothing's really happening. This is all taking place in his mind. He's in an alley. He's got spray paint all over his face and a paper bag.
But in his head, it's him just fighting.
That's right. People pass by and he's just punching the air and stuff.
How great!
It's just a big trip.
How great if we marketed a movie, right? And you think it's like this
Yeah.
big, just like epic thing. And
it
at
all
the end,
to
just
explain.
at the very, it's not like it was a dream. It was a dream,
Yeah.
but it was the fact that he was huffing spray paint
Sure,
to
he was just
imagine
huffing
it.
spray paint the whole time.
How pissed off would people be at that reveal? Or
Yeah.
how much would they love it?
They might love it.
No, I think they'd probably hate it more than anything. Oh man!
But I think any publicity is good publicity.
That's
so
true.
Maybe that's a thing.
So he might have been huffing paint here, but he thought that he was beating up the mugs in the mug house. Our second story, because it continues right into the next story here.
Where's Tim, by the way?
So Tim was no longer there, but Tim does come up here.
Okay, great.
Because right outside of the pharmacy, because Tim's going back to go see Bob. His parents are like, "Hey, go hang out with pharmacist Bob again, like you've been doing all day."
Sure.
The payphone outside. Because we get a cut from the mayor's how the second story starts of basically like they're building new subways.
Oh.
And somebody else has been leaked about like where the new land for the tunnels are and has bought it up and is trying to hold them, like, hey, you have
Basically
to pay our
for
rent.
ransom. Yeah, sure.
So, and they say if their demands aren't met, like they're going to cause a subway wreck. So we know this is
subway wreck.
Yeah, like they're going to cause a collision.
Okay. I'll tie the tracks together.
So we don't know if the public knows about this or not because this is the mayor talking about it. But one of the next panels we hear then, or while this is going on, I'm sorry. It's the next panel. Outside of the pharmacy, there's a man on a payphone saying, basically, hey, we've been paid to blow up the track and like send this and Tim overhears it. So how lucky is it that the plan to cause this crash not only is happening, but the guy who's like part of it is like, hey, I'm going to tell you all about it on this payphone right outside the pharmacy, where Tim overhears and can tell Black Terror about it.
Well, this is very much, it brings to mind like those movies where you see the reporters immediately run over to the payphone to give the story to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're working for the Daily Planet or the Daily Bugle or the Planet Bugle, that you just run over there real quick. I got some hot news, take this down, that kind of thing.
Extra. Yeah.
Instead, it's a mug.
Yeah,
on the phone.
It's a mug on the phone here. And tell me maybe, that's how I perceived what he says.
Right.
It says, we're pulling the wreck. I assume that means we're helping cause it.
Sure.
Anyway, he's just like, just to show he does.
I'm going to kill this guy. Anyway.
Yeah. He's like, we're pulling the wreck. Anyway, just to show him we mean business. Just kind of like matter of factly, like we're going to wreck anyway, just to show him we mean business.
Okay, sure.
It's coming off in about 20 minutes in the tunnel south of Elm Street Station. Don't know why he's giving so much information over the phone. That's what Tim hears.
And hang on, here's the reason we're going to do it.
Yeah.
First,
if anybody were to happen to be around and had a notepad to write down what our group's initiatives might be,
it would foil our entire plan.
Oh, man. So Tim overhears it, goes and tells Bob. Bob's like, oh, yeah, Black Terror needs to go and stop this.
Yeah.
But he leaves, and he tells Tim to stay there.
So he pulls out his paper bag.
Tim being the great, sidekick that he is like, no. And, like, goes in there, sniffs the fumes, too. And he becomes Terror Kid.
Really?
Yeah.
So this stuff is still sitting around.
And he
so
just
can
walks
sniff
in and
the
he's just
fumes.
like, sniffs it himself. He's like, I'm Terror Kid now.
Terror Kid.
Yeah, so it's the Black Kid and the Terror Kid.
Wait, no, it's not the Black Kid.
It's the Black
Terror and Terror Kid.
Thank you. Oh, man. So Black Terror and Terror Kid.
Yeah.
That they're later known as the Terror Twins.
Oh.
Which is weird, though, because one's a grown man and one's a 10-year-old
That's
child.
what I was going to say. You don't often see. Well, I guess they're, what do you call it when they're not identical?
Well,
they're fraternal.
Fraternal. Yeah, I guess they follow the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito version of twins logic. So,
sure.
Yeah. But so basically the two of them then stop the crash and help save everybody. But
anyway, how's it going? No.
So, it was a character that has then he's fought everything from like domestic, obviously, like we talked about, because I just covered the origin there.
Right.
Because nothing happens afterwards. They just beat up they stop the crash. They save everybody.
Sure.
Black Terror kisses the girl.
Oh.
Yeah, the secretary.
I don't know that I want to be kissed by something called a Black Terror.
But then Bob Benton shows up, and of course it's like, oh man, you could learn a thing or two from Black Terror, like it was with the puppeteer,
or go to pharmacy school,
and or just like do karate or something. Gosh, everybody thinks you're weak. So basically, though, the Terror Twins.
We've yet to run across one of these public domain guys that can fly, right?
Yes.
None of them can fly.
He has not flown yet.
Okay, all of them are like, I'm super strong, or I got a gun that's real shiny.
We have to think Black Terror, all it is he has super strength from
an ant.
Huffing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess if you could turn it into, it could huff anything.
But I guess, when you talk Spider-Man or whatever, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Especially if you don't go for the Spider-Man who actually shoots web stuff out of his wrists. Instead you go to the ones that have to manufacture it.
Oh, yeah, have to make the... Yeah. No, I think you're right there.
All right.
Basically, as I said, though, the Black Terror and his sidekick Tim together, known as the
sounds stupid when
Terror
you say
Twins.
It. Yeah.
They fought threats both domestic and foreign during World War II.
Oh.
Because, of course, anything during World War II would have to fight Nazis.
Yeah. I always enjoyed the one where they fought a horse. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
For most, I'm trying to...
Just like picturing him punching a horse.
I'm trying to think of what the racket the horses would be up to.
Oh, well, they were throwing the races.
Oh,
they were throwing the big race.
They found out who. And it's like, I bet you, but I mean, they'd probably be ethical. What if they were trying to take down a mob boss by throwing the races? And Black Terror's like, no, I stand up for justice, which means clean horse races. And just like maybe he doesn't see the point that they were trying to do justice of their own.
Well, I think what we're overlooking is that it is the horses that were doing it, not the jockeys.
Yeah, no,
it's
the
horses. Actual horses. Yeah, the anthropomorphic horses that are throwing races. Right. I mean, we've entered a world where a bald eagle called Raven is called a crow because the cops can't understand him like the other guy can.
Yeah.
So we're not that far off from having talking horses that are throwing races.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm here for this comic universe.
Sure.
But as they...
Again, this feeds right into that paint huffing theory.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I brought up Jean Starr, the secretary, as the love interest for a while, but eventually she fades away. In their spare time, Bob Benton and Tim attend meetings of the Fibbers Club.
The Fibbers Club.
You want to know what the Fibbers Club is?
Are they liars?
Yes, they get together and just tell
tall
tales.
Lies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pharmacist and his kid friend.
We need to start one of those clubs. The Fibbers Club. Come on in, guys.
Also, when visiting...
I'm lying. Don't come in.
Also, on a story, while visiting his history teacher, Professor Duncan... Bob Benton discovered that his ancestor had himself been the Black Terror in the 17th century. The reason why he had unknowingly, the reason why he had unknowingly taken on his ancestors' the reason why he had unknowingly taken on his ancestors' identity has not been revealed, nor has whether any of Benton's other ancestors or if any of the other ancestors became a Black Terror. But yeah. That was the story at one point in time, too. They thought so much about the Black Terror.
Basically, it was like, we hadn't come up with that yet, but just rest assured, it happened.
A lot of weird stuff going on, but I love the fact that in these, that it's really weird because eventually you get like I'm trying to remember what the book was, or the study that comes out a while, in the 50s, basically about how comics were demoralizing kids, and a lot of it
that's where the comics board came from, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of it had to do with like relationships like this.
Sure.
Between
old pharmacists and young boys.
Yeah.
Sure.
But you look at it and it's just like the basics are never answered.
Right.
Does he have parents?
Right.
Where are his parents?
Yeah. Why do they not care?
Why do they not care?
Sure.
Why are you just cool with him being like, I'm gonna stay by and huff your ant juice and become Kid Terror?
Yeah.
And you're just like, guess I got a sidekick now. Yeah. Well, he's stuck with me. I can't let him go home and tell you. He's a kid. He's gonna tell his parents everything.
That's true. I guess you got to let him do it, right?
Oh man, he saves me all the time. He gets bored. You know what? We're gonna start a Fibbers Club. So I'm gonna sit here and tell lies about everything. Hey, you know what I wish what I was doing? That's what it is Bob just sits there and he fibs. The tall tales he tells are things that he wished he was doing besides hanging out with Tim.
He's the only one in the room telling the truth, though. Like he's sitting there going, yeah, and then I dress up like the Black Terror and I punch people in the face and everybody's like, ha, 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 you're such a liar.
Yes. Another thing that I found that I thought was great, I hope I took a picture of it, because a lot of these old comics, they have different ads and stuff for him. Mm-hmm. And it was, to me, it was just so funny to think of. It was made out of cardboard, and it was like a projector. Yes, I took a picture of it. It says, boys and girls, send today for the amazing new Comic Scope.
Comic Scope.
Old ad from the 40s. And basically, it looks like it's a cardboard.
Ooh, it is.
Like foldable projector.
It looks like an old school projector. It's got what looks like Captain America and Bucky on the side of it.
I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure that's...
Dude, come on. That's Captain America and Bucky.
Oh, yeah, no, that is. You're right.
Yeah,
My
definitely.
Bad.
Now you can take, in quotes for some reason, take your own screen test. Screen your friends, your family. Don't spend money. Your own photographs can be used for films. This new invention permits you to do your own testing. What? Testing? Inexpensively and quickly. And in all sizes. Thrills, drama, action. Wow, it's only a quarter too. Says, please rush me one giant camera comic scope, complete with lens, for which I enclose the full price of 25 cents in coin, plus a 3-cent stamp for mailing.
Oh, that's 28 cents.
Wow.
They hid that other 3 cents on you.
Hey, you know, the big things here. There's 3 things. It's a new amazing invention.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's not a toy. Exclamation mark, not a toy, but a real projector, AC or DC current.
Oh.
So it takes batteries or it plugs in. And then at the very top, my favorite part of this is, well, wait a minute, I just saw something else. One says it's the comic scope, right?
Yeah.
Boys, girls, send today for the amazing new comic scope. Reg US Patent Office - pat pending. Not patent pending, but pat pending. Pat's got to approve it. And then right below that, my favorite phrase is practically a gift. What? Practically?
Hey, I got this for you. Be basically completely content with it because it's practically a gift.
I'm practically happy.
Oh, man. But see, it looks
Practically
like
a gift.
the way it looks, though, it looks like it's something that you folded.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
don't know
coming
how they
flat.
powered it.
That's coming flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that it's AC or DC.
That's the thing, too. But for a quarter. And it has a slot you, like, put pictures through, and I guess it projects. It's just,
sure.
like,
It's like a
projects
slide
the
projector,
slides,
basically, yeah.
on the wall. And I
You
guess
can make
pretend
movies.
Yeah, but they just say it in the same place.
It's for your testing.
But it doesn't matter because, let's face it, your camera at the time, if you have one, probably can't pick up sound.
This is where Elizabeth, what's her name, got the idea for that one drop of blood thing. That went over well.
What?
So, you know, the Elizabeth woman who invented the hey, get one drop of blood and we can test you for AIDS and
the
toothaches
the
and
woman who
whatever.
was completely obsessed
Elizabeth
with
Holmes.
she was like
No.
obsessed with like Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Yeah, the only reason I this is even in the top of my brain is because I've been watching that show, The Dropout, which is excellent.
I started watching.
I love it.
Her voice is a little.
Oh yeah, her voice is crazy because she changed her voice.
Yes.
She's like, "Hey, I'm Elizabeth." Hey, I'm Elizabeth.
Yeah, and so she just talks with
Yeah.
throws me off. But yeah, she always is
stuff.
wearing like the black turtlenecks like Jobs did. Too.
Yeah, she is. And I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with comics, but I'm going to tie it back in.
They probably love this part of it. I'm assuming we have 3 or 4 listeners.
All those pharmacists that are listening love this part.
Hey, this was y'all's. If you had the pull of which one of what occupation was going to be next, and
dedicated to pharmacists everywhere.
That's it. You win. A plug here from Testacuzzi.
You'll practically love it.
Yeah. It's practically a gift. Testacuzzi.
She would take the one drop of blood, and what I was saying is, anyway, it's said for testing, and that's the reason it brought it to my head.
No, I got you.
It's a good show, though.
It is really good.
Okay, the time is nigh.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about Batman.
All right, let's talk about Batman.
Yeah. You saw it early.
I did. I saw it on the 1st.
And you've seen it twice now.
And then I saw it almost a week later, a little less than a week later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it twice.
The wife and I went to see it the night before last. And the most amazing thing to me is I came out and we got in the truck and I was like, holy crap, it's 11:30.
Yeah.
Because it took a while to watch this thing, right?
It is. And the one, well, I'll just say it right now, and this is the only one you're going to get spoiler alerts, because I'm sure that we'll say something even if we don't say something.
I don't care. Whatever. It's the Batman. What do you want? I mean, come on.
We gave you 2 weeks. So I think that I had a little not worry, but just wonder of why it felt like they had wrapped it up and then kept going, but then it made sense afterwards. Like
I felt the same way. I was like, oh wait, it could have ended there.
It could have, but then I see what they did with it, and so it's not like it strayed too far away from the rest of the story.
Well, I think you get to the end of this thing, or what we thought was the end, and you go, oh wait, everybody still kind of hates him.
Yeah.
And so he had to be this hero to take care of all this stuff so that when you make the next 2 movies, they can go, oh yeah, we trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a nice scene of that, of where at the beginning when he saves that guy, how he's like scared of him. And at the end, then when that woman is raised up and she grabs him, like
the mayor.
Was that the mayor? No, it wasn't the mayor.
Oh, well, he does grab the mayor too.
Yeah,
she
I'm
hesitates
talking about when they lift the woman on the
helicarrier.
I will say though,
he throws a woman into the sun at the end, and it's a little disconcerting.
It is, and then you find out, spoiler alert, he's Superman.
Oh, dang it! All the time.
Weird way for them to pull that off. No, so. I really liked it a lot. I also like the idea that since this is second year Batman, and we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, and
they didn't jam that in your face either about it being the second year. No. They just showed you that one file that said year 2 on it, and then that was it.
Yeah, and so it's like, hey, we told you it's early on, but you get to see, like, it seemed like it was the first time for him to use that
the suit,
and like Rob Pattinson played it off awesomely because he looks nervous jumping off of that thing. Like you would first time you use something like that. Definitely. And like he's not able to stick the landing. And it's kind of one of those things like, oh yeah, if this were your first time to use that.
That's what I kept.
It was like a sense of realism to it in a way.
Yeah, that's what I kept turning to my wife and saying, like, I like the fact that, number one, he's getting hit. He's not just taking all these guys out immediately. He fell whenever he did the suit. I mean, there's imperfections there because you need to remember Batman's just a dude.
Exactly.
I mean, he's just a guy. He's able to spend all the money in the world to build all these cool things and make himself basically impervious to bullets. But he's still just a guy.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, no, for
sure. He's gonna get bruised. He's gonna get beat up.
Yeah. No, there were a lot of times like he would get his back. It showed him to have a determination that, the others didn't in a sense. But yeah, no, I like that. It was felt like, and I like the fact that he got things wrong and he wasn't always the smartest in the room. Like the fact that.
Because like year 10, great. He's going to be smart and he's going to have gone through all this stuff. He's going to have
so much, other things to go off of.
Eventually he'll be the world's greatest detective.
But how do you get there? Well, obviously you have to go through things to become the world's greatest.
Absolutely, sure.
Detective. So I like that. Also, like then at the end, well, not at the end, but right before the end, to where
at the first end,
yeah, the scene where they're talking about Bruce, it's such a great scene because you think when he tells him that he wants to see him in, Arkham.
Oh,
where he wants to see.
Yeah.
And and you think that he's figured it out.
Yeah, I really did think he was talking straight to him, and he had figured out who he was.
Yeah, and it was so because he's like watching the camera.
We're talking about the Riddler.
Yeah, sorry, the Riddler. I could have explained better.
Yeah, Paul Dano was friggin-tastic, by the way.
No.
Yeah,
oh, he was
because he's a little dude. He's this little weird dude, and he's not beating anybody up.
No,
but he uses his strengths to outwit people, and he's just basically a serial killer.
Yeah, and it was great doing that. Like I liked because he tells himself, he's like, what do you mean we did that? And he's like, I don't have the physical prowess that you do to go in there and grab him and bring him out.
He didn't have the prowess, he didn't have the money, all of that.
So it was, but I loved because of that.
He's a good Riddler.
Oh, he's a great Riddler.
And he makes the Riddler scary.
Yes.
Which I don't know has been done.
No,
because the last Riddler was Jim Carrey,
and it was just a little too much over the top.
Yeah,
like that was my brother went and saw it yesterday, and his thing is kind of along those lines, a little bit the opposite. Was that every version of the Riddler that I known has been, for lack of a better term, more of a fun character.
And he's a cartoon character, basically.
And this one necessarily wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I get that. And if you don't like that, I can understand then why you wouldn't like that. But for me, I think that, and this is just my opinion, is that when Matt Reeves looked at it and thought, all right, how can I make that guy work in a real world? If it's in the real world, somebody who does stuff like that and then just sends like riddles to the police, and it's kind of like, oh, I got somebody tied up, like, hey, it doesn't have the same effect as something like.
I love the cards. I thought the cards were cool.
Yeah, the Zodiac
with the
everything
cipher
about it
kind
just
of
made
thing.
it.
Yeah.
It just seemed to fit. It is definitely a heavier tone for Riddler, but I thought it was great.
They also explained to you, kind of real fast, but explain to you how they figured out the cipher also, and it's all Alfred.
Yeah.
you know, because he was in the Secret Service and all that, or the SS or whatever it is in England.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that stuff. And I thought they answered most of the questions really well.
And I thought they did such a great job with the tease there too, because I thought for a second that they could have easily killed Alfred off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I was
and that's another thing I said to Suzanne. I was like, they can't kill off Alfred. Right? I mean, come on.
The fact they got me to question that,
yeah.
Like I thought that was just great. Colin Farrell's fantastic as Penguin.
Oh, Colin Farrell, you can't even tell it's Colin Farrell,
No.
which is, I know people have said that before, but having seen it, I'm like, oh, I did not.
And he's so enjoyable.
Yeah, he really is good.
And so
I'm looking forward to this series.
Yeah, the series they're going to do is going to
yeah.
be great. I also saw an interview with Matt Reeves that they were working on a Gotham PD series, but apparently they're putting that on hold.
Well, it's morphed into
an Arkham Asylum series, which
I love way more.
Yes, I do too.
And I think there's a way to do both within that one series.
Yes.
Because the cops are dirty, but yet they're going to put these guys in Arkham. And maybe this is just my naivete, but has it ever been mentioned that his mom's last name was Arkham?
Yeah, no. Wait. Are you talking about in the movie?
Well, anywhere.
It was brought up in the movie.
I know it was brought up in the movie. What I'm saying is before that, was that canon?
I think so.
Okay. I didn't know that. And I was like, oh, well, that makes total sense now.
I think they did that
How
recently.
they brought the Wayne and the Arkham families together.
Yeah, I think so.
And she was nuts. So,
or maybe Matt Reeves did that. Maybe I don't remember who.
I don't know, but I think that's a great choice.
Oh,
on his part. Yeah.
And I think I went leaving the movie thinking that they can go so many different ways with it for a sequel, which make it great too.
I mean, obviously, Joker.
They teased the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that they have to go with him next, though.
No, they could just leave him locked up.
Yeah, because but you've teased already. He's in this world though,
and he could kind of be the kingpin of Arkham
without
for a
being
while.
There.
Yeah, orchestrate things around him. Because
one of the things that I loved that Matt Reeves talked about, and he said that they'll release it eventually, and I hope they do, because people say that all the time, and then stuff ended up coming out. But that they had another scene in the movie that they ended up cutting. He left that last one in. But it's basically where Batman is trying to figure out why the Riddler is obsessed with him. And so since this is so early on in his career, he goes back to Arkham to deal with the only other person he's ever dealt with that was even remotely, was kind of as insane as Riddler. And it's this crazy kind of, prisoner that we don't know anything about. Which would be the Joker.
Oh, cool.
And he was like, I wanted to do it kind of like in the scene from what's the Killing Joke? Yeah. Where it's like, he's playing cards in the cell and the shadows just kind of, you can't really see, but you can tell who it is.
Well, he kind of did that when in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it was still.
He wanted a very similar thing.
I mean, you could tell some weird stuff's going on with this dude, but you never saw him really.
Yeah. No, he wanted to do apparently this very similar kind of scene like that where you don't get a full look, but you know who it is. But the thought that, Joker's already there is like just a guy who's already insane that Batman's already dealt with, and having to character study him to try to get an idea about the Riddler. Yeah. I like that idea. I also like the idea that he's already been around, but of course more people like this are starting to pop up because the argument's always been, does Gotham already have these supervillains, or did the supervillains pop up because there's a Batman?
Well, and they kind of started to explain some of that with the flood and all that stuff, So
I
thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I've got two criticisms I'm gonna throw at you though. One, and we've already talked about this before we started recording, but one is just shoot Batman in the face and he's dead. That's all you got to do.
That's true.
But that's an overall thing with Batman anyway. I told you I love the cowl, how you could see the stitching on it and stuff. I think that's cool because it shows that someone made it. It wasn't just dropped out of a spaceship or whatever.
Yeah. I did like how few gadgets this Batman had.
Well,
he had there were some things like the
he
contact
does have some gadgets.
Lenses were obviously but there weren't a lot.
No. Now, I will bring up the adrenaline shot.
The Venom?
Is that what it was?
I think that's what it is.
Okay. Well, why do you think it's Venom?
Like from the chemical that's the venom. That's the same stuff that Bane uses.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, the green liquid.
It's all made out of red ants.
It is.
Sure.
They were going to huff the fumes, but he couldn't, so he had to inject it.
Well, he had the exact right amount, and it's obvious he's never used it before, but he's already got the port in his in case
he had to.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was venom, like the same adrenaline stuff that they would end up giving Bane. So that's why I thought they teased that then too.
Yeah. I would love to see what Matt Reeves' Bane looks like.
See, there's a lot of that's the thing I love too. Was also I thought there were so many teases. Joker, the fact that Venom exists. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is where they're going, but I'm saying like they've already, to me, at least thrown a little hint that there's things out there that could.
Well, they brought up Bloodgood or whatever the name of that city is.
Bloodhaven?
Yeah. That's where Nightwing
exactly.
is.
Yeah, Nightwing's there. Also,
the only reason I know any of these things, by the way, people that are listening, hopefully still, is that I went on the internet after watching the movie and got filled in on all this stuff. I did not. Nightwing is past my point of interest.
Yeah.
And I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know exactly how it works and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and so I was filled in a little bit.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, Nightwing is still me.
I knew
into Red Hood, and then after that is where
I knew when she said Bloodhaven that was it's a thing. I don't know what it meant, when I heard it in the movie, but then when I looked it up, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
I think they could also do No Man's Land if they wanted to.
Okay.
Which I think maybe what the Penguin series might be, because in the comic story for No Man's Land is basically like the government has cut off Gotham City. Like they're on their own.
Is that the end of the Justice League, the desert thing? Or not just,
no.
Is it Justice League?
No.
Yeah. The one that's weird at the end where Batman's in the desert with the Joker.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's not that.
It's not what that is?
No.
All right.
No, this is
because I don't want that. Whatever that is, I don't want it.
This is where like Gotham is cut off from the government, so like they don't have government funding for anything.
So it's Escape from New York.
So the criminals start taking over Gotham because they have no money to fund anything. Yeah. And so I thought they could do that and do it as Penguin's rise to.
That'd be cool.
But I think that's what they're going to do for the TV show.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I just want to see like the minor villains and stuff like that start showing up.
And I think that's a great thing they could do, to where a TV show you could have fit in this world and be a part of it, but it doesn't have to be directly a part of it.
So I saw, and this is kind of taking a left turn here, but I saw that they're going to do that in the Marvel universe with She-Hulk. I read a thing on She-Hulk the other day, which I'm very intrigued as to how they're going to do this, but it's a comedy, apparently. She-Hulk will be a comedy. She is a lawyer, in the comic books. And so what it's going to be is her defending these crappy little characters that you've seen in comics before through like a divorce or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just think it's a cool way to introduce these weird little characters,
Okay, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I mean, they haven't really screwed up yet, so
no. So I mean, they're due for
see
it.
What happens. Yeah,
but
and when
until
you say
they do,
and when you say comedy, I mean, I don't think it's like The Office or anything, but I think it'll have its comedic moments.
Yeah. It's I can't think of her name. Orphan Black.
Miss Star with 2 R's.
Talia. I can't think of her name. I think it's the woman who's playing She-Hulk, and I feel bad for that. But
that's all right. You can't remember them all, Zach.
That's true.
It's just the way it works.
Just like with Pokemon, you can't catch them all.
That's right.
Or can you?
You
can try.
You can't catch all the memories.
Try to catch them all. But you can catch some, so make sure to catch the good ones.
Sure. I started to say something really terrible. I'm glad I. Hey, Allison. Allison is our editor, by the way, and you can leave this in, Allison. But you can thank me later for not saying what I just thought, because you would have had to cut that out.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't like it.
Oh no!
I didn't like it as soon as I thought.
When we're done recording, I'm going to make you tell me what it was.
Yeah, sure. I get that.
All right. So
I used to be friends with this guy named Zach, and then I told him that thing.
Oh man!
No, I'm super into any of this stuff that they want to do. The Obi-Wan series is piquing my attention now because they're getting ready to release it. The She-Hulk thing, Moon Knight looks friggin' awesome.
It does. I am very, very into this.
But it's still no ROM. I need my ROM series. Do you remember ROM?
No.
ROM was a Marvel comic,
Okay.
but it was based on a big robot alien.
Okay.
That you could buy in stores. So ROM was around before the comic. It was just like this thing that Mattel came up. I think it was Mattel.
Yeah.
Came up with this robot, and I had one. It stood. You remember the big? I want to say 12-inch. They may have been larger. Big Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
Like the big 12-inchers, right? Which I've never had a problem with, but they were the big ones. And ROM.
Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the things you don't say.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Allison. So it was big like those figures, because I can remember fighting like Luke Skywalker versus ROM or whatever, right? But ROM was this, he's all silver, he's got kind of a squarish head, and I want to say you could shoot lasers with him or something like that. You could shoot something. But I remember having 3 things at one time, right? These are the 3 universes. This is the multiverse that used to happen in my house on the ping pong table top in the rec room. Mm-hmm. It was a pool table that had the ping pong table top on it, right? And this is where my guys fought. I had the Luke Skywalker / Big Chewie, right? Then I had ROM, who would get in on the action. Mm-hmm. And then $6 Million Man that you could look through the back of his head and see he had like a little hole in one of his eyes. You could look through the back of his head and you would see like the thing that the $6 Million Man would see on TV. And so those 3 guys would fight.
Who would win?
It's according to what day it was.
Oh, okay. Who mainly won though?
Usually the bad guy would win. Yeah, I was always rooting for the bad guy.
Nice.
It was always Darth,
Always
I think
a
I
fan
lost
of the hill. I got it.
I think I lost Darth's cape at one point, and so he felt very naked to me.
Yeah, Darth without a cape does seem like
it seems weird.
naked.
Yeah, Batman without a cape would be weird.
Yeah, but sometimes it makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Because like it got tangled up in something. And
He did have a big old flowing cape in this one.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. But I think
it's a good movie.
It was really good.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, go see it if you haven't. We didn't spoil too much.
Support your local theater
and enjoy it.
Hey, by the way, just don't, if you have a local Cinemark, don't shell out the $14 to sit in the vibrating seats. It's not worth it.
Did you do it again?
No, I didn't do it. I've never done it. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I thought you had done it.
No,
didn't like it.
No, I did sit in one of the seats, and then my wife told me I had to get out. Because we didn't pay for that seat. And I was like, who the hell's going to care? But anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a little just like jealousy that you haven't been able to sit in one? You don't like it?
If I ever get a coupon
to go sit in it for free?
For like 10% off to sit in a D-bag seat or whatever it's called.
D-box.
Oh, D-box. Sorry. I thought it was D-bag seat. Then maybe I'll try it.
Oh, man. All right. This has been Bros, Foes, and Heroes. Find us on Instagram, Bros, Foes, Heroes. Email us, brosfoesandheroes@gmail.com.
You can also check us out on other shows at roguemedianetwork.com.
Until next time, as always, thanks for listening and stay safe, everybody.
Lolicon!
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.